Hi there. AICTE, under the chairmanship of Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe, has reached new heights at a blazing pace, let me tell you. And India is now a part of the global strength so far as technological innovations are concerned. Yes, there would always be detractors, there would always be naysayers, there would always be dissenters, but I guess, and I repeat the word, I guess, it is the AICTE think tank which has managed to consider all their opinions as feedbacks and always come up with something new. Another innovation, another regulation that does good to everybody. But then, obviously, I am nobody to talk about all this. So today, we are with the man himself, Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe.
Yeah.
And sir,
Thank you, Arvind,
I am
for
honored
those
to meet
comments.
you. Sir, in fact, there are a few things which I had noted down.
Yeah.
And one of them is a fabulous statement that you gave. There was a coffee table issue which was published by AICTE,
Coffee table book.
coffee table book.
30 years of history of AICTE.
40 years of
30,
history.
30 years.
30 years, yes. 28 March 1988, I think AICTE began, sir.
Yeah.
So, now in that book, your statement is that enhancing the global competitiveness of technical manpower is one of the aims of AICTE. So, we would like to begin by asking you, so far as having this edge, this global edge in technology, what would you attribute this to? For instance, a regular updation of the curriculum?
Yes, absolutely.
Or is it introduction of new age courses, specializations which include artificial intelligence, robotics, data science? Or asking institutes and universities to teach their students the art of educating themselves forever? You know, so out of these three, is there one thing which scores above the other, or all of them? I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think all of them are equally important. We start with curriculum revision.
Okay.
If we are teaching students of 19th century, 20th century, in 21st century, they certainly will be not employable. And therefore, revision of curriculum is a continuous process. It cannot be 1 year and then leave it at that. So, in fact, earlier the changes in technology were happening at a slower pace in the last century.
Right, sir.
And therefore, if you change the curriculum in 5 years, was good enough. Today, almost every year, we are required to have the curriculum revision happening and bring in whatever new elements are happening in the ground have to be taught to our students. In fact, we often say that students are required to be prepared for solving problems which are not known today, using technologies yet to be invented. Now, how do we do that? So, one part of that is continuous upgradation of curriculum.
Absolutely.
Second thing is what you said rightly, that the students are to be prepared for learning on their own. Learning to learn and lifelong learning has to be embedded into students' psyche before they graduate and go out. Because what comes out after 5 years, which is not taught in the colleges, I cannot say I was not taught this, therefore I don't know. Then the industry will show the door. So, student must be capable of learning any new thing which is happening on his own. And that's why that preparation should happen at the ground level and at the institution level. And therefore, learning to learn and lifelong learning are two important ingredients which have to be part of the curriculum indirectly. And that is why we say that in any course which is going to be taught in the class need not be taught in the same routine manner like 55-minute, 60-minute class.
Absolutely.
Which was the past. Today, in the future, we ask students to watch videos which are available on YouTube, which are available on the MOOCs platform, come prepared in the class, and in the class, a faculty member will engage in terms of solving the difficulties which students have gone into while studying that particular course. They will also ask them to solve problems which are live problems in the classrooms rather than giving assignments for them to solve at home. I think this is a new pedagogy which is emerging and we have to be ready for that.
So how difficult is it to actually implement? It's very easy to say, okay, we are asking students to watch videos, but then if the faculty today in the classroom is not comfortable with new technology himself or herself, would they actually be able to inspire this kind of learning to learn attitude?
They will not. And that is why there is a second aspect to that, which I am going to start now, is engagement with teachers. First thing is, any teacher who would like to come into the technical education domain as a faculty member, we have set of 8 modules developed, right from curriculum revision, curriculum development,
Right.
how to engage in the classroom, examination reforms, how the examination paper, which is of the old type, has to be changed to not the routine run of the mill based on rote learning, but on understanding, based on analysis, synthesis, creativity. All those aspects are to be part of the examinations, and this is also part of those 8 modules. Then engagement with industry, industry-institute interaction, internship for students. See, this is going to be taught to all the teachers before they engage as teachers. So this is the first important thing change.
So that is going to be kind of an orientation for the new teachers. So what about the
old teachers? We have another formula.
Okay.
All those people who are already regular faculty members, assistant professors, for their promotion to associate professor, they have to go through this.
Oh, so there will be courses for them.
The same 8 modules they have to also go through.
Oh,
they have no rescue from that. Associate to professor also they have to do it. And not only that, for every promotion, we have said they have to spend 3 weeks in the industry.
Right.
As an internship for faculty members.
Right.
Student induction and student internship is another aspect. But even faculty, for every 5 years, at least 3 weeks, they must have gone to some industry, observed firsthand what are the changes happening there. Then they can bring those to the classrooms. So faculty, for new teachers, there is a set of 8 modules. For existing faculty, also for promotions, this is mandatory. Now those who are already professors and very close to retirement, we request them also to go through this. But
which is reasonable enough.
Which is reasonable, but if they don't, I think I have no control on doing something like reduction of their salary or anything. They will go through, maybe they will live for another 2-3 years, and then the new age teachers will be coming up into it.
I guess it is always good to keep learning something, and as you say,
I hope they will also think that. All the senior professors.
In fact, I hope they will all be watching this video.
Yes. And they will also start learning it.
Yes, absolutely.
Whether it is required for their promotion or not.
Right,
I
sir.
think it is in their interest.
Right.
And students will only give importance to such teachers who give all this what I am saying. And others will be left out of the scene.
Absolutely, sir. So what you said is perfectly in sync, because even I have gone through your website, and some of these points were there. The website does talk of exam reforms, where exams are going to be more skill based rather than being based on only rote learning.
Yeah, it is not merely skill based, but
Yeah.
it is basically having more inputs into that. Just remembering something and omitting into the examination is what was happening all these years.
Right, sir.
We are reforming, and whether student has really understood the concept, whether he is able to apply that to the real practical situation, not in his own subject, but even in other courses, can he make a parallel, thinking and critical analysis of the situation.
I was just wondering, is it that AICTE has started this wonderful program of learning and learning to learn because of government schemes like Kaushal Vikas Yojana, or was it already there with the think tank and they were maybe discussing it and trying to implement it?
No, these are two different things. See, skill development is also important.
Right.
And in fact, we cannot isolate general education with skill education and skill education with general education.
Right.
I think both are equally important. An engineer without having any practical skill sets, only a theoretical engineer may not be as useful as only a skilled man who is not able to communicate and do other studies. So therefore, in both the educations, there is only proportion of that will change.
Right,
but otherwise, both of them should have both the characteristics inbuilt into that in vocational education.
This
as well
leads
as
me to ask you that when you see what is happening in universities abroad, they give the students an option to enter by opting for one stream of study, and actually in reality come out specializing in a completely different. What I mean to say is that engineering and humanities have kind of seamlessly merged over there. So there are incidents where a student enters wanting to study, say, aeronautical engineering, and actually emerges being an anthropologist. Uh, is this kind of an innovation anywhere near?
It is slowly coming in,
Okay,
but still not up to the same level as what you are saying.
okay,
For example, there is a committee already set up in order to create what is known as a credit bank for students.
okay.
So it is not only what you are saying is you enter as an aeronautical engineer and go out as an anthropologist, or come in as a physicist and go out as a biologist.
Absolutely.
On one side is a possibility which may
Yes.
come in the future.
Yes.
But more importantly, even a student who goes to X university or Y college, then goes to a Z university, and whether those credits can be transferred from here to there and complete his own degree,
So there will be a fair amount of flexibility.
which is being built in, and those kind of regulations are yet to come.
So what kind of obstacles do you foresee in this kind of a flexibility?
In this flexibility, the number of credits for awarding a particular type of degree is one thing, and the definition of credit has to be universal.
Right, sir?
Well, one university or one college, if you do some course and they say it is 5 credit course, and another university says, though, this is not even equivalent to 3 credits, then there are some challenges.
So there has to be uniformity.
Uniformity in addressing
Yes.
what we mean by one credit, in terms of theory classes, in terms of practice, in terms of tutorial. I think that if it is uniform, and if one undergoes some credits in X university, they can easily be then transferred. It is like bank. You have in your bank only rupees. Suppose there is a bank where you can stall some dollars, some pounds, and some euros, and some rupees. It is something like that. I get 10 credits from one university, 20 from another, 30 from another, and the total requirement of a degree is suppose 80 credits. Whatever balance is there, I go to a 4th place and complete it, and my bank record passbook will show that this is what I have earned, and now I am eligible for a degree. Now, mutual recognition of the credits of each of these universities is also equally important,
It is.
and the definition of credit. These two things are the ones which may have to be taken care of in the regulations as and when they are formed. Then whatever flexibility you are saying, our system may be more flexible than anywhere in the world actually.
So obviously AICTE has a lot of regulations in place, and there are a whole lot of other regulations which are being considered. So to make sure that all these regulations are implemented, do you have a team of people who go regularly to institutions, colleges for audits, and to make sure that things are actually working as AICTE wants them to work?
And there are two ways of doing it. One is the formal inspections which are carried out.
Okay.
They are not done by us. There are different faculty from IITs, NITs. They are sent as members
Okay.
of the committee to find out what is happening. But apart from that, what is most significant is for different types of programs and functions, when AICTE's officers are invited, we take that as an opportunity to visit and to see not only what we want to inculcate to be transmitted there, but also something good happening there we would like to learn from there and then spread it across to the other institutions as well. So the best practices need to be shared. So when we go to some college, suppose in say Karnataka, I find something very interesting happening there. When I go to Andhra Pradesh, I will say that, see, Karnataka is doing this, why can't you also try to do it?
So all these committees which are formed by people who are outside the AICTE purview, do you also monitor them? Because obviously, they're giving you a certain feedback. Would you trust that feedback with your eyes closed?
No, that's why we visit ourselves. I said, see, we get an opportunity. We ourselves do not visit for inspections. We visit for programs and functions, convocations, graduation ceremonies, international conference inaugurations. So when we go, we will not just do that function. We will interact with faculty, we interact with students, we look at the laboratories they are happening. This is an informal way of looking at the way things are happening.
Maybe confirming as to the feedback, that sort
more,
of feedback
more than
you
that,
got.
the way it is being done,
Absolutely.
is it as per our wish or is it slightly different? And if something good is happening, we also appreciate that. It's not that what we say is the final word.
No.
In fact, innovation comes from every nook and corner.
Absolutely, and by accepting change wherever it is.
Absolutely.
So, why? I mean, as I'm listening to you, I'm absolutely upbeat. This is a scenario which India always wanted. Why is it then that the Indian industry is forever whining, complaining, you know? And I remember I was talking to somebody, and he gave me a few figures, and I'll quote them. In 2017-18, the approved intake was 35.5 lakhs in degree and diploma courses in India. The actual students who were admitted were 18.9 lakhs, which obviously means it's almost 50% of the approved intake. People who graduate were 13.4 lakhs, and placement was given to 6.5 lakhs only. So when we consider the approved intake and the placement figure, there's a huge gap. Why do you think this gap is there? If these students are all future ready, market ready, industry ready.
And I think we should not say that they are totally future ready or totally ready from day one for the particular job in hand. I think this is again a misconception. They are not, and they need not be. I am telling both the answers.
Okay.
On day one, if they are already ready for that particular industry, then it means they will be not ready for some other industry. We don't want to create a manpower which is only useful for a particular set of industries. We want people who are to be ready for a generic purpose,
right,
who can be fitted into anywhere, provided they are given some opportunity, some months of training in their organization, they should be ready to do it.
And if they have the urge to learn.
Yeah, that is what we want to create.
Okay.
And that is why from day one, for a particular industry, someone is not ready, I am not worried about that.
So is there a...
But if someone is not ready for learning by himself, learning to adapt, learning to change, and within 2-3 months get used to it and then start functional and provide opportunities there in that industry, then something is wrong with us. And wherever that is wrong, we need to correct it. That is what I stand for. And second aspect of, you said about these numbers.
Yes, sir.
Unfortunately, about a decade ago, because there was huge demand in engineering, the number of colleges given and the number of seats allotted to these colleges was beyond the requirement. I think this is what is a mismatch which has happened.
So does this mismatch happen because of political pressures?
Not necessarily political pressures, maybe because they saw the movement,
the potential.
Okay. So everyone jumped into the queue. And since there were a large number of private entities who wanted to start the colleges,
I fully agree with you, because
suddenly numbers grew.
Because I have here figures which say that 468 courses were closed in 2012-13, 912 in 13-14, 604 in 14-15, 1093 in 15-16, 670 in 16-17, and 1389 courses were closed in 2017-18.
So many last 5 years, slowly it has been steadily reducing, and the mismatch will be reduced. So beyond demand, beyond requirement, if you start the colleges, this is going to be the effect. This is number one. And some of the data which is not reflected here is about private universities and deemed universities, which have also come in large numbers.
Right.
And huge number of students are admitted there. That figure does not appear here. So it gives a wrong impression that the 50% vacant seats are there or 8 lakh vacant seats are there. Some 2-3 lakh students are getting admitted in those private universities and deemed universities, which are not part of the AICTE's mandate of approvals.
You're absolutely right, because on the AICTE website, there is a page which goes with the title AICTE Approved Program Closed Institutes.
These are all AICTE affiliated colleges.
So there are a whole number of institutes which AICTE has asked them to close down.
No,
because of some reason or the other.
No, they are different. See, that may be a small number.
Okay.
But on their own they are coming and closing because there is no student taking admission in those institutions. So it is actually this closure are mostly 90% of them on their own wish that now no more there is demand, so we would like to close. Where there is no quality, there were complaints, and when we investigated and found that they are found wanting, we have also closed some of them, but they are very small in number.
So is this the reason why AICTE is seriously thinking of shifting from traditional courses to new age courses?
That is what we have been recommending all the time. So unless you provide courses which are up to date and latest in the field and the niche areas, students will not come and there will be no job opportunities.
I mean, I have just one apprehension. It's easier to start courses but very difficult to find faculty who's going to make sure that the courses run successfully. Like for instance, if you take data planning or artificial intelligence or robotics, do we really have the kind of the number of people needed to teach the intricacies, the nuances of these new age courses?
That also comes into faculty development programs.
Okay.
I only narrated about faculty induction, new teachers coming in and the pedagogical changes that are required, that kind of 8-module courses. Apart from that, there are 9 areas which we have identified, right from artificial intelligence, machine learning, IoT,
Yes.
deep learning, robotics, blockchain,
Blockchain.
then augmented reality, virtual reality.
Absolutely.
So there are 9 areas which we have identified
Right.
and created a curriculum for them, and getting expertise from both industry and some of the top-notch institutions like IITs or
Right, sir.
NITs, some of those best universities. Course is being designed and given as faculty development program training for existing teachers. So existing teachers themselves have not done it 10 years ago or 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
And if you ask them to start teaching that, they will also have difficulty. So from those who are already capable, we are making train the trainers and then
Okay.
expand the base. And in a couple of years' time, we would like to reach out to as many teachers as possible. And today, with the use of technology, they don't have to physically come and learn so many things. Unlike in the past,
Yeah,
there
you
used to be
have
only
you have virtual platforms.
virtual platforms,
yes.
MOOCs courses.
MOOCs,
We will
yes.
provide them for the teachers, special courses for the teachers.
Okay.
And if they learn on their own and give exam, and some of them will have to struggle a little bit, some of them do well very, very soon. So I think in 2 to 3 years' time, see, one important thing,
Right, sir.
what is required in whether faculty, students, everywhere, is attitude. This
Yes,
attitude
absolutely.
is the
Yes.
one big bottleneck many times it comes across. So once you have
Sir,
no problem of
I-
attitude.
I really must intervene here. The moment you said attitude, you know what picture came into my mind?
Huh.
When I go to a college, maybe just to investigate or just to look around, one thing that I find common in almost all degree as well as diploma colleges is that the head of the department or the principal is going to definitely go and come and complain to me, listen, Mr. Passey, these faculty, they are not willing to learn. They are not willing to change from writing an application by hand to actually writing it on the laptop and getting it printed. You understand, sir? This is such a basic level. And here we are talking about IoT and talking about training the trainer. Do you think this kind of attitude?
Mr. Arvind Passey,
Yes, sir.
part of that responsibility is also on the head of the institution.
Okay.
How much am I doing it is observed by my faculty. See, people always observe and learn. All our students also learn some of the best practices of the best teachers.
Absolutely.
I am sure they will not look at the bad teacher for doing something.
No, they will not.
Everyone will be inspired by even 1% of the teachers, 5% of the teachers.
So you mean the leader has to lead?
Leader has to lead.
Yes.
And therefore, he has to inspire, he has to motivate, he has to practice. And just giving a talk that you do this and I don't do it will not work.
It's
In
bad
my
parenting.
personal experience,
Yes.
bad parenting, bad leadership.
Bad
So
leadership.
one more area which we are addressing is developing leaders.
Okay.
And I think training for leaders also is equally important. And under the Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya mission for teacher training, MHRD is taking care of that 100 odd institutions.
Okay.
And even IITs have been given a mandate to train the teachers that you have a 3-week program, say 1 or 2 weeks in India and 1 week in a foreign university which is somewhat a model good university there or a different institution abroad.
A select few.
Then select few.
Yes.
See, I think we need to grow these numbers and inspiration comes from only those pockets. So one teacher who has earned this, whatever experience and he starts implementing it in his college and all students will gravitate towards him.
True.
It becomes a competition.
It
It's
does.
self-motivation.
Yes, sir.
Oh, if they are doing it like this, they are becoming popular, these teachers, I need to change myself as well. So I think rather than forcing on the teachers something, inspiring them through such kind of things is more important today.
So these are all fabulous things. There's another trend that I've noticed, sir. The trend is for people to seek less of conventional jobs and think more about startups, as we were discussing startups. So, does AICT have any methodology where a, a student who's enrolled in a very conventional degree or a diploma course gets the option of studying certain electives where, say, business analysis or data analytics is a part of the entire credit system? And there are no credit systems existing, but
No, there are
where-
credit systems.
okay,
We do have credits. Only what I said earlier is credit of one university going to other university does not exist.
okay.
Within the institution already there is a choice-based credit system through UGC as well as AICT. So
Which
there-
normally today, as I see it, is the students tend to choose the easiest option available, or an institute thrusts or pushes an option which is easily.
I think I don't agree with this.
Okay.
That maybe certain percentage of students. See, we have all type of stakeholders.
Okay.
So some students, what you are saying is right.
Uh,
Some others will go out of the way and demand, why are you not giving this course also?
Absolutely.
And this MOOCs course which I mentioned, we have already made provision that 20% of the courses can be taken through MOOCs. That means in some location, in a remote place, if
Right.
there are no faculty in a particular area, and therefore students should not be deprived of not learning those courses, they can learn from some of the best institutions in the country through the MOOCs platform
They can.
and get it credited into their account, into their grade sheet. So this provision is already made by both UGC and AICT. So I think there are mixed populations. Some of
Right.
them will be easygoing, some of them will be hardworking, some of them. But in general, there is a lot of enthusiasm among students. The only thing which is lacking is we are not providing enough opportunities for students to showcase their talent. And that is where a big change which we started doing through Smart India Hackathon has
Yes.
proved in a big way that given an opportunity, they have solutions. So when you said in the beginning that students are not employable or less people are getting employed, very same students whom industry many a times says they are not employable, they are able to provide solutions for the government problems, state government problems, central government departments, and industry problems as well. So if an undergrad student of second and third year is capable of thinking out of the box, bring solution to the table, I think somewhere we were missing in giving opportunities to our students, and we have invigorated that across the board through this Smart India Hackathon.
So, what do your statistics show? This thinking out of the box attitude, this urge to learn more, this urge to accept anything new, is it limited to a certain percentage of colleges, or is it something very universal,
No,
but
no,
not tapped?
It is universal, it not tapped. Tapped in some places, not tapped in some places.
And not tapped, why?
Not tapped is again it's a problem
It's a
of
leadership problem.
attitude, leadership, those are the issues. So once we overcome those issues, I think across the board, any student who has come there to the institution for learning, he wants to get the best out of that. No one would like to just while away his time. As I said, there may be a small percentage. I think we should ignore them. Large chunk of students are interested in doing something creative, and this is becoming more and more significant because they are all having a lot of information on their fingertips, which was not the case during our times. During our times, we had to only go to a library, search for some book, or maybe my professor, whatever he teaches, it is the final word.
Absolutely.
But today, the whole world is at your doorsteps.
Right.
So he is in a position to look at it. Children at the age of 8, 10, 12 are able to solve problems which we don't even think today, earlier that at 40, 50 also we were not able to do, they are able to do it.
Yes,
We
the
provide
intuitive grasping has increased.
And,
Yes.
But opportunities also to be provided, which
Okay.
are also coming up by and large, and that's why changes are happening.
So, is this the reason why, like for instance, I see Mr. Javdekar's photo over there? So, Mr. Javdekar, I think his quote is there on the AICT website somewhere. He writes, access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability are our mantra.
Yes.
Now, out of all these words, accountability somehow made me restless. Because if accountability is a mantra, then performance would be top class at every level, which I'm sure you would agree that at the implementation level, it leaves much to desire.
That is why we have made already a great announcement
Right.
that in the next 4 years, any institution which does not get itself accredited by the National Board of Accreditation, they will have to close the college. So that itself.
So that
has
was a
put
part
challenge.
of the Professor Reddy recommendations.
No, ready recommendation is about those 9 areas where new courses can be started.
But because
and
of
all.
that, AICTE decided that 2020 will be the last for any new
No,
college
that is
to
for
come up.
not new college starting or
Okay.
about that aspect. But
Right.
this aspect is irrespective of that. Even the existing programs, those who want to continue, unless they get accredited, means show the quality performance, they will not be able to continue. And we have given enough warning of 4 years. And not just warning, we are also facilitating.
So performance, when you say, what kind, is there are there parameters, defined
There are parameters. You must go through the National Board of Accreditation website.
Okay.
There are 12 parameters. And those 12 parameters are all having some marks, each
Okay.
one of them. And unless
So
they
all
score,
degree and diploma institutes,
they will have to
they
get
need to
accredited,
follow these things.
this. And there are, it is all
Government
based on
recogni-
outcomes.
And it's equally valid for private as well as
Everyone,
government,
For everyone.
government institutes.
Naturally for everyone.
Okay.
And one side is we are showing danda that you must get accredited. On the other side, we have a scheme called Margadarshan and Margdarshak, and all faculty members and institutions who are well performing institutions and well performed faculty members, even retired ones,
Right.
we are roping in them to go to 5 institutions and upgrade their level, and the entire expenditure is being borne by AICTE. So
Okay.
under Margdarshak and Margdarshan scheme,
Kind
Any-
of, we can loosely translate it into a
mentorship.
mentorship.
Yeah, it is Margdarshak is mentorship.
Okay.
So you go to the institute, find out what are the pitfalls, engage with them. Now willingness is required from the institution. As I said, attitude change, etc., from leadership, faculty is necessary. If you have the will, whatever shortfall is there or whatever background check is required to be done in order to get yourself accredited, and whatever deficiencies are there, these people will go and guide and help to overcome them. And then automatically they will lead to accreditation.
And it need not be paraphrased as interference.
It is not interference. In fact,
Yes.
it is willing people only will be matched with each other.
Okay.
A person who is retired and settled down in, say, Kolkata, we will ask him, you choose some 10, 15 institutions. We will ask 10 institutions. Are you willing to take him as your advisor, guide, or philosopher, mentor? When they say yes, then we match them, and then that fellow will go there regularly, look at the processes involved, look at the changes desired to be done. He will give advice, they will adopt it. And I hope in no time, those who are all willing.
So the scheme is as dynamic as the ISO scheme which had come in. Some colleges had opted to
some-
become ISO recognized.
So this is
accredited.
accreditation, which
Yes.
which is very important, and there are 12 parameters, as I said.
Right, sir.
And if anyone follows those and tries to implement them, I'm sure they will come off age. The quality
They will.
will automatically become important. So accountability comes from there. So rather than routine inspection and finding fault that you don't have one classroom, 2 laboratory equipment are not working, I think more than that, that will anyway, it is their responsibility.
But right now this is going on. You don't have one classroom. This lab is not functioning. Now my inspection team is here. Now please call a videographer. Now the principal is running. Videographer कहाँ से manage करें?
नहीं उससे ज़्यादा अच्छा है कि you improve yourself.
Okay.
Self realization and improving upon that.
Okay.
Based on accreditation is you decide your vision, mission, goals. It's not necessary that every institution should say that we will create papers, research publications and patents. Someone
Right,
will say,
right.
I would like to be a very good teaching institution. All my students will be capable of becoming entrepreneurs, or my students will be employed by the best of the companies,
Okay.
or my students will become officers in the government, or my students will get into various types of other activities, social activities also. I may have that vision. I don't want anyone to do job. I don't want anyone to become even entrepreneurs. We'll go to the villages and serve their society. So each college can decide on their own vision, mission and goal. And how do you really achieve that? What processes will you follow to go to that final
So
conclusion?
how far are the colleges today from this vision?
There are very few who have got 10%, 15%. We want them at least to
So
become 60%.
right now,
80%.
for instance, the faculty is in a race to prove to their masters that they published 10 papers in journals which are not even
In
recognized.
fact, we are all becoming very scary of this, and
Yes.
therefore reducing the number of journals which are approved. There is a list of journals which UGC has announced.
Otherwise, as you said, the
AICTE
online
has
world
announced.
has its advantages,
No,
but
no,
it
no.
has
No,
its
no, no.
pitfalls
These,
also.
these journals will not be recognized.
Okay.
If they publish papers in such kind of journals which are
Yes.
not peer reviewed,
Yes.
they will not be counted.
Okay.
And therefore that will not give any advantage to any faculty. But in fact, I have a counterpoint that not everyone need to be a researcher. Someone could
really?
be,
Yes.
someone can be a good administrator. Someone
Absolutely.
is good in delivering lecture, engaging with students, and making them so invigorated. And there are classic examples. They themselves may not have PhD, but such people have not only inspired and guided more than 20-25 PhDs.
Absolutely.
I think that is an inner vision which one has and which has to come out
Yes.
actually. And therefore, each one should decide what is he good at and should fully commit to it and then achieve it.
So, what you're trying to say is that colleges need to believe in the Gandhian principle of self-actualization.
We have in fact our new promotion scheme, whatever we are saying.
Right, sir.
Few things are compulsory, that one has to go through 6 weeks of minimum
Okay.
new training in some new subjects, going for an induction program in industry,
The students,
internship in
the
industry.
for the
No, no, I'm
student.
talking
For the
of faculty.
faculty.
And apart from that, one may decide what am I good at and what am I passionate about.
Okay.
Suppose I am passionate about teaching, I should not say that this is workload and more classes I have to take. In fact, I should venture and take more classes and engage with students and be happy about it. Maybe I am less in research, doesn't matter. Or someone else feels that I am slightly isolated, I do good research, please reduce my number of classes, I will do better research for the institute. I think this is where we have to move. And in an institute, all people are not equal. Some are interested in administration, some are interested in
Absolutely.
in
So
classroom.
you need
some
to
are interested
find
in-
your own niche.
Some are interested in helping students in sports and other cultural activities. You need a person to deal with that as well.
Absolutely.
I think this is where individuals' best capacity has to be used or exploited, whatever you call, by the institution. So the leaders should not be restrictive that everyone should publish paper, everyone should do this, everyone should. I think we have to come out of that. And
Do whatever you're good at.
Same is the case with students. You ask everyone to study right from primary school. Everyone has to study physics, chemistry, math, biology, history, geography, civics. Some subjects out of that one is not so interested.
No.
Or is not becoming very happy for attending those classes. Why can't we say that instead of this you do this more? I think be skilled. Some other activity.
True.
I think we have to really come out of primary education to higher education, giving a lot of flexibility for the learner. But whatever you want to learn, please don't leave any gaps there. Put in your best efforts. And nothing less than excellence is acceptable. This is the culture which we have to grow in our country.
So, no gaps anywhere, you said. There was another thing I was noticing, was that over a period of time, the last, say, 5 years or so, say in 2012, the percentage of female students opting for technology courses, that is female SC, female OBC and female open, the 3 categories, they were almost 50% of the total strength taken. And last year, the statistics told me that it is a bit less than 1/3. Do you think this is a very serious concern? Because we are living in times where female participation in everything is increasing. They are there even in the parliament, they are in the armed forces.
No, I don't think it has decreased. Where did you get this data from? In fact, continuously.
In 2012-13 has more than 50%. And in 17-18 it is barely 1/3, sir.
They just
It could be maybe a misinterpretation.
misinterpretation.
It is
See,
possible.
continuously, proportion of the female students
Right.
in scientific courses as well as engineering technology has been steadily increasing. May not be by exponential growth, but there is a gradual continuous increase.
Yeah, but there should be no reduction anyway.
There is no reduction.
Okay.
See, sometime it may have reduced by 1%, increased by that may be a possibility in some year, But by
Or
and
maybe,
large,
maybe this figure could be there because of certain courses which have been closed, and maybe
no,
they
I
were
don't
courses
think.
where a lot of females were there.
I don't agree with this data because somewhere something is wrong.
Okay.
Because female population in the colleges when I
Right.
studied was almost negligible.
Okay.
It's around 35 years back.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
talking about 35, 40 years.
In technology fields,
There
yes.
used to be one girl student in the entire batch of 400.
Absolutely.
No, that was the case.
Yes.
From there, we have gradually come, and it became 20%, 25%, 30%. So now it is certainly not 50%, but
Okay,
around
it might not be as bad as that.
35 to
but,
40%.
okay.
Number one,
Right.
and in fact, very interestingly, in almost all the graduation ceremonies and convocations wherever I have gone, I have found that the rank holders, toppers, the gold medalists,
They're all
they
females.
are 65 to 70%
A girl student.
girl students and 30% boys. So their percentage in the college may be 40%, but the gold medal percentage is 70%.
So that's higher over there.
So that means there is a clear indication that they are multifaceted, more talented. It's only that input has to come. And in terms of some areas, like the real area where the number of students are not coming into this domain is ST. Forget about female, even male.
Okay.
The number of seats available are not getting filled. SC is also not as bad. There
So,
are enough
so
students.
is this the right time when maybe AICT should recommend to the government to rethink on the entire reservation portfolio
No,
and,
it is
and maybe
required.
redo it
No, I think
in different
this
ways?
percentage.
Because if seats are going empty, then there is a whole lot of
No.
infrastructure which is going underutilized.
No, we should not reduce the seats for the
Okay.
ST. Why ST students are not coming is to be looked into. Maybe colleges are at a far off place and they are not able to travel.
Okay.
So if they are, see now we have started a program for, not now, last 3-4 years, every college which asks for SC, ST hostel and a limited number of whatever students are already studying, we are giving them a hostel facility. We provide 3 crore grant. So hostel facility is there, and if even some kind of requirement of their fooding is taking place, because they are all from very poor family background. And if we consolidate that, and wherever there are schools in those areas, you go and give inspirational lectures, I think they must have that vision that I must also someday reach that place. So once we inspire like this and create that aspiration amongst those students, these seats will not remain vacant. I think somewhere we have missed that. So we must now go to the tribal areas
Yes.
and go maybe primary school teachers, high school teachers, some of the experts, some industry people, and give one lecture in that school and show what is possible and what is you should be able to do it. Why don't you write exam and take it? I think this inspiration will naturally make them to come forward, and there are always aspirations, but we have not reached out to them in probably remote areas, and that is one thing which this immediately is the need of the hour.
So before I ask you to give a message to the students and to the people who will be watching this video, there's just one very contentious issue that I want to talk about. Being the chairman of AICTE, how intense are political pressures to get something approved or to not get something
I
approved?
think there are no pressures. See, what happens is, normally if there is someone who feels that they have not got the permission or they have not got it, they certainly will go to the political leaders, both ruling or wherever it is, and then will send a letter to us. We will relook at it, because sometimes there may be a minor mistake at the point of approval, giving, not
Absolutely.
giving. So we will have to relook at it, and if they genuinely deserve it, they will get it. Otherwise, we tell that same political leadership, whoever it is, that this is not possible because these are the shortcomings, and they have all appreciated. They have all appreciated, and we say that they have to improve this, then they will get it.
So
in the
is this
consecutive year.
attitude a very new attitude? Because you go back 15 years or 20 years, sir. Even Chetan Bhagat has written a fiction in which he's talking about AICTE goons.
Yeah, I think gone are those days.
Gone are those
Gone
days.
are the
So-
days. And think we are completely independent, and we have been operating without any pressure. I should very point blank say that.
Okay.
But nevertheless, any input which comes in, whether it is from political or otherwise also, even some institution which aggrieves, for the decision which we have taken, we re-look at it. We are open, transparent, and we tell them what is lacking and why the approval is not given to you. So if you
Fair enough.
overcome that, please come next year, you are welcome to come.
Right.
This is how we look at it, and absolutely there is no problem at all.
So I would request you to give two messages.
Yeah.
One for the students and one for the faculty.
For students, my message is choose any line, any department, any particular course which you are interested in. Put in your best efforts, hard work, passion, consistency is important. If you do that, success will follow you and you don't have to follow success. This is for the students.
Right, sir.
As far as faculty are concerned, they have to change their attitude. Whatever the way they were taught 25 years ago, 30 years ago is not valid. New age changes in the pedagogy, they must adapt to that. Otherwise, they will not be able to survive in the market. And therefore, faculty members have to constantly start learning new things. That constant lifelong learning, if we start practicing, our students will also start practicing. And that is the need for the students as well. So for students, lifelong learning, faculty should become a role model. And that is why I request all my faculty colleagues to not always say that word workload. I think I am against the word workload.
There is nothing wrong with
Whenever you say I have a 20-hour workload, it means number of classes that I take. It looks like a load on our head and a burden on me. You say that this is a work opportunity that is given and ask for more opportunity and be engaged with our students.
Yes.
And students and faculty, they have to be together. This is one thing which has been again missing, and therefore one more program of ours, which is student induction program, is taking care of that. That is our ancient Guru Shishya Parampara, where faculty and students, they have to engage in dialogue, discussion fearlessly. And once this happens, students will not be inhibited from asking some difficult questions.
They should not.
And faculty also will not bother about why has he asked such a silly question. I think this is the change which we are bringing in. And for this, support from both students and faculty is necessary. And in a big way, wherever we have conducted workshops for faculty has come of age and they are very happy about this. This role of teachers we never realized earlier. This is the sentence which many teachers say, and they almost literally cry at the end of that 5-day, 3-day workshop.
Okay.
I think this is a big change which is happening.
Definitely,
for
sir.
a student induction program where we are teaching our faculty members.
Yes. So I wish you all the best, and I wish AICTE succeeds in all its aims, regulatory and otherwise.
Yeah, I think our startup mission is very important. You
Yes.
broached that subject, but it left out.
Oh, yes.
We have our own
Okay.
startup policy. Within 8 months of Government of India startup policy, we created our policy. And you asked a question. Every institution has the provision of taking electives for startups, right from business model, how you take market survey, how you go to the bank and get the angel funding or loans from the banks. All these are part of the coursework. And parallelly, along with your normal coursework, students are allowed to take these courses. We also have a second course. You may have a mechanical engineering main degree, a second supplementary degree or certificate in entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Is all possible, and we have done it. We have created a 2-year master's program in entrepreneurship also. I think we are creating an ecosystem wherein innovation and entrepreneurship, along with your normal academics, will also go on. And that's why we have an innovation center established in AICTE by MHRD, and we are reaching out to all institutions to become innovative in terms of every aspect of the institution. And today, India stands at 57th in World Innovation Indexing, national, whereas we were at 81 just 5 years ago. So continuously every year, 4 or 5 steps we are going up the ladder. And I'm sure with the kind of potential that we have, the support system which we are creating, we will be in the top 20 within no time.
We are a force to reckon with, in technology at least. And thank you so much for giving us time, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Sir.
Thank you.